Good morning, good afternoon, wherever we find you. How's everybody this morning? Welcome, welcome. TradingSyndicate.org. I'm JJ, vwaptrader1 on X. And our goal here in this room and on YouTube is to help people, normal, regular people, want to help them make a living using simple, practical trading methodology and business methods. So we are not a overtly complicated room. We like to keep things simple, and we build profitable traders. That's what we're about. We're here to help you make a living. So welcome everyone. Welcome to the folks who are joining us on YouTube. A small request if you're on YouTube with us. I feel I gotta say this the last couple of days. If you're on YouTube and I miss a question or you ask a question and I don't answer it right away, if you could be polite in the way you remind me, that would be very much appreciated. Folks who are joining us on YouTube, we appreciate you and we like having you with us. We just ask if you could show some social decency and be polite. And I don't really have trouble with this a lot of times, but just the last couple of days, it's been a little weird with some of the folks, getting a little rude. So we'd really appreciate it. If you're a little bit polite, that'll really help. Then I don't have to respond in kind. So welcome. Thanks for being with us. Alrighty. What are we shaking with? Overnight inventory. Overnight inventory is long. It's very, very long. Okay, and what that means is here's the close of yesterday. All the trading is above the close, and we've already corrected quite a bit of it. Had we opened above yesterday's high, we would open on a gap. Here we're going to open above yesterday's close, but still within yesterday's range. Okay? And I think it's going to be choppy back and forth. Will we see a correction? Great question. Any kind of meaningful correction, TBD, is going to take out that overnight low, take out yesterday's low, and gun for 75.11. Okay? If we can't do that, it'll be back and forth, and then one of these again. Okay? Tomorrow, my friends, is I'm going to be the teacher on Ferris Bueller. Anyone? What's tomorrow? I know it's Thursday. Tomorrow is month end, my friends. Now I know you're going, JJ, wouldn't Friday be month end? And no, it's not, because equities settled T plus one, and we are an index built on equity. So tomorrow is month end, and we just have to be a little careful at the end of the month, because these big traders, they're always up to something. And we really want to make sure that we mind our risk. So if you made good money this month, if you had a good month, tomorrow and Friday are the days that you really got to watch out for. Now, what does this mean? It means that you don't want to blow up your account tomorrow or on Friday. Now, already we saw some moves in Globex that are a little hard to catch, and moves that you don't have a business plan for. Those moves will bankrupt you if you're a retail trader. You got to be smart. Okay? So, your main concern is to not lose the money that you made. Right? So, what do you do on month end? Just relax and only trade the 100% proper setups that you are ready for. When your business says, okay, this is my business, I know how this works, I'm used to doing this, great, then I'm gonna trade that setup. If that setup does not show itself, why are you putting capital at risk? Right? Unless you got a money tree in your backyard. And if you do have a money tree in your backyard, please be so kind as to give us your address. We'll come over for coffee. But if money is not growing out of your ears, I'm not saying don't trade month end. I'm saying just be smart about it, okay? You know, if you made money, you want to keep that money. It's very important that you keep the money you make, because otherwise, what's the point, right? There's no point in doing business if you can't keep the money that you made. So what we're going to do today is we're only going to get you into trading good setups, you know, ones that pay, ones that you can manage risk. All that boring stuff that everybody hates talking about, that's what you're going to do today, okay? Today's all about risk management. Remember Seinfeld? George had to learn the risk management thing. That's what we're going to do today, okay? Yeah, markets really aren't wrong, right? You're right, Raj. 100%. Am I wrong? Sure, lots of times. So, what are we going to do? What are we going to do here? Let's see. Inventory is long. We'll look for a move lower. I want to show you something that I showed the people in Globex, right? Notice that I'm going to put in the other evening sessions. Check this out. This is Sunday night, Monday short session, Monday night. Yesterday, right, so this is Tuesday. This is the overnight from Tuesday. I want you to see the top of the cost basis is exactly where yesterday's low was and exactly where that low from that Globex session is, right? The cost basis of Fridays here, we are still in distribution. In fact, if you were a smart aleck, you could kind of go, oh, wow, look, this is a balance zone, my friends. That's a balance zone. We have sellers at 75.72, and they stop selling just down here at 75.16-ish. Let me go draw it out for you, right? Now, I know a lot of this is Globex and electronic trading, but let's check this out. I just want to show you the magic of balance. So if you look at this as a balance zone here, it's 75.16 3/4 to 70, right? The cost basis doesn't change. The cost basis is here. So what TBD, this is really cool. I want you to visualize this, okay? This is where we bought all the cheap crap. See? You see that? You with me? This is where we're distributing it. This is the road. So if you want to take a look at this, this is the warehouse. This is Saks Fifth Avenue or some fancy ass store, right? And then when we run out of people, we're going to put it on sale and mark down the product. And if we really have to mark down the product, we'll mark it down all the way. And this is TJ Maxx right here, right? This is the max for the minimum, right? This is where we put the deep discount, where my girlfriend buys that $200 eye cream for $19.95, right? That's down here because they're blowing it out sometimes underneath cost. So this is a cost basis, you're right. It's a distribution cost basis. So just perchance if things get weird, and sometimes they do, okay? Sometimes this business gets a little nuts, right? I don't know if you guys have ever seen Other People's Money, the show with Danny DeVito, but he's got this computer called Carmen, and he goes, Carmen tells me that this is a good stock to buy, but what if Carmen's a little nuts, right? If we get a little nuts in this market, right, this will be a balance zone, and we'll take this and we'll double it. So if we cannot break 75.16, right, if we can't break that lower, we're going to be targeting 76.77 if we get over 76.31. Okay? That's if we hold it. If we break this and come back down, you just double it to the downside to get your target. So what that does is it helps you manage your expectations. Right? Oh no, it could. You want to see nuts, Slicey? You haven't seen anything yet, my friend. You think this market's nuts? Just wait. Going into as soon as we get through summer, it's going to even get crazier. Okay. I told you guys that this year was going to be nuts. I told you it was going to be very hard to trade, and that we're going to really have to be on our toes. You remember 99? Oh, okay. So now the point of control has moved down. We had good distribution. Now we drop the point of control down. Let's see if we hold these areas. Yesterday's point of control, which means point of control is a fancy ass way of saying this is where the inventory is priced. The value area for market profile people, value area means cost basis. Point of control tells you where everything is priced in that cost basis. Alrighty. Right? So now let's see what we're going to do on the downside here. This is looking like a look below end fail of 41. I'd give it another candle to see if it holds 41. And if it does, you're looking for rotation up to 45, 46. So you're long 42. I'm out one at 43 and a half. And let's see if that, no, I scratched the other one at 42 and 3/4. You can take it again if it holds 41 and a quarter. Make sure you're offered because there is supply above. Okay? So inventory was long. It is already corrected, right? So you remember 1999, right? Yeah, we've got the SpaceX IPO, right? And I was listening to Ron Barron on CNBC. That cat is hyped. Some of these SpaceX investors, you know, they're literally hoping for the moon. So let's see what happens. Now, let's see if we can hold 41 and a quarter. I would like to see some liquidation and come back down to that 37, 36 area, but we may not get it. Wait for the next candle, and we know the seller is here. Okay? I really don't know why everybody wants to live on Mars. I mean, I've seen pictures. I would rather, for that kind of money, I'd rather go to Hawaii. Okay, under 41, there's no long. Okay? Not just yet. Okay? Let's see if we can hold 41. It's a little choppy. Remember, you don't have to trade until the trade is clear. If we can't hold 41, I'll be looking for a look below and fail of 35. That bid is really annoying. That 41.40 bid's really annoying. Let them work it out. If you're shorting, put some bids at 38, right? I'm not short. If it can't take out the 41, 42s, then you're okay short. See, this is the problem with shorting this thing because it catches a bid and lifts out of nowhere. There's a seller up at 42. There's a seller at 42. Oh boy. Just relax. No need to blow our money. If the trade is not clear, there's no need to just blow money. Okay? No reason. Wait till it clears 43, right? Once it clears the 43s, then you have a better chance 44 to 46, right? But you can see that there's a seller right there. Boom. Let them work that seller out. Let them clean up this market. You don't have to clean it. So we're doing the look below and fail. It's a choppy look below and fail. But I'm seeing bids come in now. Make sure that if you're going long, that you put your sell orders out and you sell into strength. There you go. Right? 41 and a quarter, there's a bid. Right? Sell into the strength, my friends. Do not let the grass grow underneath your feet because the market will just pop, take your sell order and come back down. If your sell order is not in, you're not going to get executed. Okay? Today at 11 o'clock in the room, We're going to be having a Zoom, and we'll be talking about the subtleties of trading, figuring out stuff from your fills and things. Enzo, welcome. Welcome to the room. How do you know distinctly when there's a buyer or a seller? We don't care about the buyer. All we care about is the seller. This makes things simple. When we have buyers, Enzo, the seller will raise the offer. See this red line here? See how it's moving up? That means the sellers have seen buyers and they're raising price. Right? So you're long 42, selling the 43 and 3/4, put some offers out at 44, right? And sell into strength. Always sell into strength. Never wait for an invitation. You know, I bought 4 at 42. I'm selling them by 42 1/4. I'm done. Right? So now I don't have to worry, right? I sold into strength. Yes, Deuce. The reason I kept the same cost basis as yesterday is when I woke up overnight was an inside day. So if you watch the early morning, what I like to call the early morning surf report, I tell you the reasons why I didn't change the cost basis. So Enzo, does that make sense? How do you know when there's a buyer seller distinctly? The good thing is you don't have to worry about looking for buyers. The sellers, which I've been one for 34 years, the sellers will tell you if buyers are coming in. Right now, the sellers are moving price lower. So what they're doing is they're saying we're running out of buyers at 41, we're running out of buyers at 38, we're going to mark price down until we find the buyers. When we find the buyers, we're going to raise price. Now, isn't that convenient? Does that make sense? So all we have to do is watch the seller. The seller, and this is a little inside information for you guys, the sellers are the ones who set the price, not the buyers. The sellers set the price because they have product. Just like a store. You go into Walmart, Walmart's selling a TV for $1,000. If they can't find anybody to buy the TV, they'll put it on sale, right? So all you got to do is watch this little red line when it comes down to a level and just work with that. And that's a great question, and I'm glad you asked it because a lot of people are afraid to ask questions. We need people to ask questions so we can help them, right? So I didn't buy the 36. I should have. I was slow. I should be long 37, selling these 39s right now, but I'm not. So let's see if sometimes you just miss a trade because you're slow. That happens. And then what we do is we just simply mark where the sellers are. The sellers initiate at the top of the candle. So say I was long 37. I know there's going to be a seller here just under 40. There they are. See? So if I bought 37 or 36, I'd be selling 39.40. And this way we can always make sure that we get paid a little bit, right? Scalping has a bad negative connotation. But scalping is the best way to learn how to trade because you learn how to think and act quickly. And that is a skill in markets that is worth its weight in gold. Because the slower you are, if a situation comes up quickly and you don't know how to react, man, you can get into trouble quick. So now I'm looking to see if we can come underneath 35 3/4 and come back up. So I'm preparing for the look below and fail. Right? There's no reason to trade in the middle of a zone, right? Always trade at the edge because that's where you get the best deal, right? I'll wait for the next candle. And that's one thing I had to learn is to wait for the next candle. Sometimes you miss it. That's okay if you miss it. I don't mind missing a trade. Now let's see the next candle opens. If we hold 36, you're going to go long. You're going to put your stop under 35 and 3/4. Wait for it. Wait for it. Let's see if that bid is there. There's a little bit of a bid. Give it some time. This trade, the look below and fail, works really nicely when you feel like you're late. You know, when you feel like you're late, that's when that trade works really nice. These two stops here, if we blow that 35 stop, it'll come down and test the overnight low, most probably. So if we blow 35, just relax. Nice work, TBD. Nice work. In and out, in and out. So no look below and fail yet. So I either wait for this or I wait for this. And those are the only trades I'm willing to spend money on the day before month end. See how it's selling off? This way you don't buy it, get stopped out, buy it, get stopped out. It can be slippy. Entering on the break of that candle high, a valid entry, it can be. The problem is you have to judge the order flow, and that takes a little bit of experience. When it's choppy like this, there might not be that follow through that you want, right? So the textbook answer is yes. In real time and in real terms, I've got to be able to see what the flow is going to be like at that time. I know that's a wishy-washy answer, but it's never black and white in this business, right? And that's another thing that we'll be talking about today at 11 o'clock Eastern in our room. We'll be talking about things like using your fills, seeing where you got filled, seeing if you got slippage, all of that stuff. We're going to be looking at that to see whether or not and how to judge what kind of market you're trading, right? Because a lot of the times you'll get into a trade, get stopped out, and then you'll be like, crap. 2 minutes later, it works. It's not unusual. So if we break the overnight low, we're looking for 24 and 3/4. Let the market just sell off. If you're not short, don't worry, right? Overnight inventory was long, and this is an inventory correction. I should have been shorting this thing all the way down, right? Let's see if we can hold that overnight low. Let the levels work, they work. Don't worry, the levels will work. Just wait for your trade. We'll drop it into 25. Wait for the next candle. See, it does this. You notice it drops. You get a big move up, and then they sell into it. All right? Nice work, LC. It's nice to be done early. So you can tell at the top of all of these candles, the sellers are going to be there. So say you're long here. Say you're long 26, 27. Put your offers out so you can sell. Do not wait for an invitation to sell this market. Okay? You're not going to get one. Okay. The next seller is going to be up here at 35. So you're long 32, sell the 35s, sell the 34s. Get paid, my friends, get paid. Right? That's a fail to look below, not a perfect look below, but man, that's a big short covering candle, eh? It was a nice inventory correction, well traded. The problem with all-time highs and tomorrow being month end is there's always some joker. Exactly, Leslie. I was just like, Jinx, you owe me a Coke. There's always some joker who wants to try and fix his position before the end of the month, and they just came in on that big green candle. So there's always somebody who's desperate, right? That's a desperation candle right there, right? That's a desperation candle. I'm an old fart, gotta have spikes, so you'll hear me use all the old jokes here. You know, I've been trading since the days that we used to ride horses into work. Now my question is, do we hold 24 and go sideways and then do one of these? Or is there more liquidation? The order flow is not really smooth. It's not really smooth, but that's okay. See, there's that 27, 28 bid again. I'm looking to see where they sell into it. So no, we know that they have sellers are here. We know that there's sellers up here. So if you indeed decide to go long, right, this is where your sort of, your subway stops are, right? There's a seller at the overnight low right now. That's good. That's healthy. That's healthy, right? Once we accept back over the overnight low, the shorts could be in trouble. The president tells us when to buy. Oh, maybe, I don't know. I'm a little traumatized by the news, so I haven't been watching the news a lot lately. I have not been watching the news. I mean, I'll read about IPOs and stuff like that, but I find the more I read, the more news I read, the harder it is for me to trade because I got all these ghost thoughts going through my head, you know? We got a seller at 29, and that's okay. Back over the overnight low. Let's see if we accept. You know there's going to be a seller at 31 and 3/4. Ah, there they are, right? Now the more it chops here and does not go down and breaks that 27 and 3/4, it is going to start tickling its way up here. right? Long the overnight low, you're selling the 32s. Do yourself a favor, get paid. Get paid, my friends. Even if it's only 1 or 2 points, 2 points on 5 to 10 contracts is a nice little trade, right? You're not going to get, that's not, the supermodels aren't going to come in the Ferraris, but, have you seen the new Ferrari? You probably don't want one. So if you're long 32s, 31s, hit it out here. You know there's going to be a seller there at 35. Make sure you liquidate, right? Yeah, that new Ferrari, I don't know what they were thinking. Thing looks like a computer mouse. And 600 grand? That's audacity. To put out a car that ugly and then ask 600 grand for it. That's some serious I mean, that's you know, only Ferrari can pull that off. All right, now where's next? Where's next? Sorry, I'm being distracted. I'm being bad. It's going to be a seller here. The top of the candles are where you're going to find the sellers. If you're still long the overnight low, you really kind of want to make sure that you're selling into strength, right? Sell your contracts, get paid. There's no reason to unnecessarily just give back money. The price action is weird today. It guns up and then it just kind of stalls and then retreats and then it bids again. It's just a strange trading day. Now let's go find the bid. Now, if enough people are short under 34, they're going to come and start buying this thing back. And if they do, we'll take out that 38 offer here. Now we could come back and dip down to 33 again. Let's see. There's 33. As they say in France, quelle surprise. I'm always watching the offer, Ronan. I never watch the bid. And for me, the fact that we got back over the overnight low was a long. So the overnight low was 29. I was a little slow. I wasn't really that quick on the ball. So I bought the 32s. And I was long the 32s, and by the time it hit 34, I was gone. But on 5E minis, if you make a point and a half, 2 points, that's an okay trade, right? You can make a living, right? It's a little weird the last couple of days, ever since the Memorial Day weekend, we had that gap up, right, over a 3-day long weekend. Not exactly the easiest trading that we've encountered. See, and that seller is still there, right? They're still up there at 37. So now let's see where they find the bid again. Back down to 32. Just mark the... These are big candles. These are big candles. Now, how many people are short under 33? And when this next candle opens, can we get back up over 36? Because these big back and forth movements, they do two things. They flush out the late longs, and they trap people short at the bottom of the candle. It's a very common thing. That's okay, Bram. Not a problem with the typos. Don't worry. Not a problem. Now, come on, Mr. 37, or Mrs. 37, or Ms. 37. Show yourself. Show yourself. I'd be a seller here if I was long. Might as well. Just get paid. Now, what's next? Whew. It's not smooth out there. It's really not, it's not smooth price action, and the candles are big. And this is very, very typical of month-end type trading. Okay? So, January, February, March, April, May, June. And the other thing that's happening in June is, remember, we're going to have contract rollover, right? Just when you thought it was safe to go into the water, the middle of June will bring us contract rollover. So we could get some chop. That's what I'm trying to say. All right. Any questions? Now, if you're going, JJ, this sucks. I can't seem to get it. Don't worry. Don't worry. Just relax. Okay? Month-end trading at all-time highs, it's not easy, right? If it was easy, we'd all be driving Lamborghinis and dating supermodels, right? Don't worry. It'll come together, right? You're learning, and you're learning when to do business. Okay? It'll get better. No, not the new Ferrari, that's for sure. Right? And like I said in that video I put out yesterday and today, sometimes the business is not really meant for us. Today is meant for those wholesale traders and the large market makers. Today is their day to try and get business done, try and manage the risk. That's the name of the game for them today, right? They're trying to deal with their month-end situation. Some of them are offside, some of them are onside. capital preservation, lowering risk, all of those things are important to them right now. If we take out the 40s, we're looking for 41 and a quarter. And if we got enough people short, if we got enough people short here, when they go to cover, we're going to go here, and they're going to take this cheap stuff and sell it up here. And you folks have seen this over and over and over again a million times. It's nothing new. Yeah, I saw that, Jim. That old guy was like, maybe you should take the Ferrari badge off. Has the stock recovered? I was looking at the stock yesterday. It was not having a good day. Anywho, there we are, right back to VWAP. Now, if enough people are short underneath VWAP, when they go to cover, you're going to see that big green desperation candle. Like, oh crap, get me out of this. Right? We've all said it. There's no shame in being wrong, right? It's like, oh, please get me out of this. I'll never short again. It happens. Hey, listen, position shorting a market at all-time highs in a market with very little supply, it's like getting a root canal without any freezing. Okay? It's a painful experience. It's of course it's window dressing KKPA 4297. I'm just going to call you KK. Right? Window dressing is is the spice of life, right? Yes, it depends, Slippy. The stop loss, you want to use that. If the candles are big, you might have to use the low of the candle. If the price action is kind of slow, then you'll get away with a smaller stop. So if the market's really volatile, you might have to spend more on stops. If the market's nice and quiet, then get away with smaller business expenses. Yeah, you got to show the clients that you bought Micron. You want to see Micron? Where the heck is it? Right? Everybody's cost basis on Micron is here. It's under 50 bucks. I mean, this stock's been around forever, right? I mean, the big institutions, that's where they're positioned. Look, if you ever wonder where the big boys, look at that volume. So the cost basis on Micron is like under $100, and they're selling it at 900, right? They're not selling it; they're holding it, and they're looking like very, very smart people. Double top right at the point of control from the overnight, and we're doing that creep, right? Yeah, the large players, they're positioned a lot lower than regular people. You know, they're positioned a lot lower than regular people, and they've been holding it for decades. So why not? The more money they make, it's trickle down economics. And I'm just joking, right? You know, You know, we want to teach people. What's Apple at this morning? I haven't even looked. We're going to do a little distribution here. There's going to be a few sellers at VWAP. It was really cute today. Some kid on Twitter was trying to educate me about VWAP. I'm like, oh, cool. How adorable. Oh, you got into the Cerebrus? How do you say that? Cerebrus? You know, it sounds like the model of TVR. Oh, that was Cerbera. They got in at a buck 50 and it's trading at 300. Good for them. I love it to see people make money like that. It's great. You're gonna stock at a buck 50 and it's trading at 300. I think I'm not a hater. I love to see people make money. It's a wonderful thing. Oof. Okay, what's next here? Have the shorts realized that they're in trouble? When the shorts realize they're in trouble, we'll take out the 46s and the 48s. Till then, they'll still kind of monkey around. Ooh, that's a big sell candle. See if it holds cost basis underneath 36. You see that big red candle? I was looking for a green one, right? So what happened was they were selling VWAP, and a trader who was long underneath 34 said, you know what, I just want out, and hit all the bids. That happens all the time. And that's why you gotta use stops, right? And that's why you don't want, where's Howard? Howard, you on? That's why you don't buy VWAP after a move up, right? That's why. That's why I want you to trade from fixed references. Because the likelihood of that big red candle at a fixed reference is less than at VWAP. Let's see if we can test the overnight low again. Oh, take a quick look here. Got me curious about. Oh, Apple, look at that. 312.56. I was looking for 313.11. Not bad. The old levels are working. You guys are all very quiet. Any questions? Oh, the rain noise. Oh, the air conditioner. I got to run an air conditioner in this room because I've got like 5 monitors just glaring and it gets hot. Could you cover again how you interpreted that big red candle? Okay. Well, at VWAP, George, what happens is traders, like when I'm selling size, like say I'm trying to sell 45 and you keep jumping in front of me and selling 44 and 3/4 and say Bram goes 44 and a half and Deuce goes 44 and a quarter. So you're stealing my customers. So what I do is when I see that, I'll just come in and just hammer it and just take everybody out and I'll sell size. So at 11 o'clock today, are you going to be on our session at 11? I'd love it if you were because you, I'd love it if you came and asked that question in our session. And I will be happy to go in depth with you on that and actually go into the exact mechanics of how that works. Hmm. And back up again. A little choppy here. Looking for VWAP again, right? Okay, folks. Back up at VWAP. And there is a poor high up there, so there are sellers up there. Okay. And remember how I said before that big red candle, if we take out the 47s, you'll be looking for 52 quarter. There will be some selling here at 48. All right, so our next session is going to be at 11 o'clock a.m. It'll be on Zoom, and I'll be putting the Zoom link in the room, okay? And it will be recorded. All right? So bring your questions. Is that your stop loss at 75.32 or take profit? Not sure I quite understand. I'm sorry I missed the question. I'm not in a trade right now. I've been a little distracted. I apologize. No questions? For now, the sellers are lucky. There's size at 46, 47. But if we clear that, you're definitely looking for 52 and then 55. Okay? Oof. If you guys don't have any questions, I'm going to cut it short a little bit just to save my voice. I'll be back in 40 minutes at 11, and I will put the link in the room. Please bring questions. Okay? So we'll be talking about things like slippage, using your orders, these big red candles, how that all works, all the little finer points and details. Okay? Oh no, they're not white. They're not alerts. This is cost basis, and these white lines are telling us where to expect sellers. Pretty simple stuff. So when a market sells off, Ivan, because I've been a seller my whole life, I know that the top of the candle, like here, 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 that's where the sellers initiate. So when you get back up there, they're likely going to sell there again because they sell size, right? If you sold there before, you'll sell there again. Good question. Thank you, everyone. I will see you in about half an hour at 11 a.m. in our trading room. If anybody on YouTube wants to check out our room, we've got a 3-day trial. Come check it out. It's the best price trading room out there right now, where you actually have a chance of making some money. So I appreciate you guys. Setting for VWAP, I just set my VWAP. I use just plain old 23-hour VWAP. So my VWAP is always set at the New York 6 p.m. open, the Globek open. So I look for VWAP for the whole 23-hour session. It's the most popular one. You can anchor it anywhere, but I like anchoring it where everybody else is because that's the most popular club. That's where you're going to get the best result. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful trading day. Stay out of trouble, and we'll see you in half an hour. Bye for now.